Hi everyone, welcome to part 3 of Liberalization, Privatization and Globalization, chapter 3 of Indian Economic Development, class 12 Economics. Well, starting with the topic Indian economy during reforms and assessment, we have a few positive reforms and a few negative changes that had come into the Indian economy, and in this video we'll be discussing both positive and negative aspects of the Indian economy. So, starting with the positive changes that the reforms had were as follows. First of all, the positive thing that happened was that we had a larger foreign direct investment. So, as I've explained in my previous video, that foreign direct investment means that foreign investors come and invest in our economy. That is foreign direct investment. तो हमारी foreign direct investment बढ़ गई थी. It went from US dollar 100 million. It's always suggested to learn the statistics so that you can enhance your answers. So our foreign direct investment went from US dollar 100 million in 1990 to 1991 to US dollar 36 billion in 2016. Also, so their investments are of two types. There are foreign direct investments and foreign institutional investments. Just so to give you a small recap, so foreign investment is of two types. Firstly, we have foreign direct investment that we have talked about here. And FII, which is foreign institutional investment, is a type of investment where you have less control over the asset, whereas in foreign direct investment you have higher control over the asset. So both these investments had gone up during the time of reforms that had taken place in 1990, the reforms that were known as new economic policy of India. Secondly, the good thing that happened was that the foreign exchange reserves had increased. As discussed earlier, foreign exchange reserves mean that the assets or the money that our domestic country holds in response to the trade that we have with foreign countries. तो जो मनी हम यूज़ करते हैं फॉरेन कंट्रीज़ के साथ ट्रेड करने के लिए, जिन एसेट्स को हम यूज़ करते हैं उन्हें कहते हैं फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स. तो ये हमारे बढ़ गए थे, and it means that that our country was now viable to have more and more of trade with the foreign countries. To explain the statistics here, our foreign exchange reserves went from US dollar 6 billion in 1990 to US dollar 321 billion in 2014 to 15. So this is how foreign direct investment and foreign exchange reserves had increased. Now talking about the third positive effect of the LPG or the new economic policy was that India had become a successful exporter of auto parts, engineering goods. So we were becoming a better exporter of engineering goods, auto parts, IT software and textiles. So these are the three areas that we were trading in, and we were mostly exporting all of these material. So there are only three positives as we have seen here. But now coming to the negative aspects. So the negative aspects are as follows. Firstly, it is growth and employment. So talking about the parameter growth and employment, there's not much that is mentioned in your book. It's just that the growth was not as much as it was required, and the aimed growth had not taken place. Employment was also not good enough. So we just mentioned that the growth and employment were not as much as they were required in the economy, and it has not generated. So the words that are mentioned in the book are not generated sufficient employment opportunities. Now coming to the second point, which is reforms in agriculture. So how had agriculture been affected by the liberalization, privatization and globalization of Indian economy? Is that firstly, the focus of the government had shifted. Focus of government shifted from agriculture to industry. So during the reform period, we'll realize that the government was more interested in investing in agriculture. Was more interested in investing in industry rather than agriculture. So second point is also related to the first point, is that public investment in agriculture had decreased. So public investment means the investment that the government does, जो इन्वेस्टमेंट गवर्नमेंट लगाती है, जैसे कि पम्प्स प्रोवाइड करने में, वाटर पम्प्स और मे बी स्प्रिंकलर्स और ऑल दी अदर मटेरियल दैट यू रिक्वायर इन एग्रीकल्चर, वो सब देने के लिए जो गवर्नमेंट इन्वेस्ट करती है वो सब इट हैड गॉन डाउन. So what type of investment am I talking about here? It is about irrigation or power or roads, मार्केट लिंकेजेस एंड रिसर्च एक्सटेंशन, ये सब नहीं हो रहा था. thirdly is that there was removal of fertilizer subsidy. Now we have talked about subsidies in our first chapter. So removal of fertilizer subsidy means that the cost of production, because उनको सब्सिडी नहीं मिली. सब्सिडी इज़ लाइक अ financial assistance that the government gives to the farmers for जिससे कि उनको कम पैसा लगे उनकी प्रोडक्शन में, और जिससे कि उनके जो प्रोडक्ट्स है वो उनको प्रॉपर इनकम मिल सके उस चीज़ के लिए. सो फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ फार्मर्स वही सब्सिडी देते हैं गवर्नमेंट हमारी. सो अब बिकॉज सब्सिडी रिमूव हो गई थी इसलिए जो फार्मर्स हैं वो अफोर्ड नहीं कर पा रहे थे प्रोडक्शन, जो उनके क्रॉप्स के लिए प्रोडक्शन रिक्वायर्ड थी वो अफोर्ड नहीं कर पा रहे थे. सो इट लेड टू हायर कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, which affected the small and marginal farmers. Fourth is that we have seen some policy changes. So during the reform time, there were a lot of policy changes that had taken place. जैसे कि हमने बात करी थी कि इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटीज़ हट गई थी. तो अब बिकॉज इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटीज़ का मतलब होता है कि इम्पोर्ट करने पे जो लाइसेंसिंग लगती है या फिर कोटाज या रेस्ट्रिक्शंस जो लगती थी वो हट गई थी. सो दैट मीन्स कि अब एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्ट्स भी बाहर से आ सकते थे. दैट मीन्स जो इंडिया में प्रोडक्ट्स प्रोड्यूस हो रहे थे उनको एक कंपटीशन मिल गया था बाहर के प्रोडक्ट्स से. एंड बिकॉज बाहर के प्रोडक्ट्स चीपर रेट पे सेल होते थे इसलिए इंडियन प्रोडक्ट्स compete नहीं कर पा रहे थे. सो दैट इज़ हाउ इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटीज़ एंड हैड अफेक्टेड दी फार्मर्स. ऑल्सो जो मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस था, विच इज़ ऑल्सो कॉल्ड MSP. मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस मीन्स दैट द गवर्नमेंट सेट्स MSP या फिर मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस कि हम इस प्राइस पे वी विल एक्वायर दी क्रॉप प्रोड्यूस बाय द फार्मर एट एनी कॉस्ट. मतलब हम ले ही लेंगे ये, और ये हम एक मिनिमम प्राइस पर रहेंगे जिससे कि उनको उनका ड्यू मिल जाए, so that the farmers earn their due income. So and MSP also means that the public has to buy that product for that minimum price, and इससे नीचे farmers won't sell the product. So this is MSP and that had been removed. That has also affected the farmers because उनको उनकी due income नहीं मिल रही थी. Thirdly, quantitative restrictions जो थे, quantitative restrictions ऑन एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्ट्स जो कि हमने इस वाले पॉइंट पे बात करी थी वो सब हट गए थे, तो उनको कंपटीशन फेस करना पड़ रहा था. सो दिस ऑल लेड टू इंटरनेशनल कंपटीशन विच सीवियरली अफेक्टेड द फार्मर्स. नाउ अनदर पॉइंट इज़ दैट the fifth last point of this topic is that export oriented policy हो चुकी थी अब, and that we were producing more for the export market rather than for the domestic market. So export oriented policy. Now what we mean by export oriented policy is that कि एक हम crops, there are two type of crops. One are subsistence, second is cash crops. So subsistence is mainly for their own economy, खुद के खाने पीने के लिए, and for the domestic economy itself, and not for exporting and not for the foreign countries. But now what was happening is that because जब हम export कर रहे थे and because we had linked our economy with the foreign countries, that is why farmers were producing more of cash crops. तो जो subsistence crops होते हैं, बाहर की अगर economy wanted more of corn, then we were producing corn despite the fact that we wanted more of wheat to fulfill the needs of our domestic economy. So people are producing more of cash crops rather than subsistence crops. This is what is called export oriented policy. So just a quick revision of the 5 points that we have covered in agriculture. So wait, first we had covered growth and employment. Second we had reforms in agriculture. In agriculture we have talked about focus of government shifted from agriculture to the industry. Second is that public investment had gone down. Third is removal of fertilizer subsidy. Fourth are the policy changes, the 3 policy changes that we have talked about. And fifth is the export oriented policy that had made change the crops from subsistence to cash crops. Now coming to the third change, the third parameter, these are reforms in industry. Reforms in industry were quite similar to agriculture because उसमें भी first ही हमारा यही point रहेगा कि यही पॉइंट रहेगा हमारा कि इंडस्ट्री में सबसे पहले जो पब्लिक इन्वेस्टमेंट थी वो कम थी. सो व्हाट वी मीन बाय पब्लिक इन्वेस्टमेंट इज गवर्नमेंट वाज नॉट investing in the infrastructure. So inadequate investment in infrastructure. So the government was not as in agriculture was also not investing enough in the infrastructure that was required for the industrial growth. Secondly, decreasing demand of domestic products. That we have also talked about this कि मतलब हमारे domestic products की demand इसलिए कम हो रही थी because foreign products ज़्यादा आ रहे थे. They were coming on cheaper price and people as consumers we are willing to buy cheaper products. So decreasing demand of local products. Now thirdly, the problem that the industry was facing during the reform period is that foreign countries were not opening their markets and we were vulnerable to open our markets for their products. So that means that developed countries were invading in our markets with their products, and that is why we were facing these 2 problems, this and this: decreasing of demand of domestic products, inadequate investment in infrastructure. But what is happening is that the developing countries like ours, like India, was not allowed no access to markets of developed countries. So this is a third problem that Indian industrial economy was facing during reforms. Now talking about the fourth parameter, reforms in industry. So the fourth parameter here is disinvestment, and the fifth one is reforms and fiscal policies. These are 2 very short topics: disinvestment and reforms and fiscal policies. So talking about disinvestment, we have talked about this in the previous video, that disinvestment means selling of a part of the equity of the public sector undertakings by the government to the private sector companies. So I'll give you an example, and it's better if you write stats in your answer as well. Is that during 1991 we had targeted that we'd cover 2,500 crore of disinvestment, and gladly we were able to do rupees 3040 crore of disinvestment. Similarly, in In 2017, we had aimed that we'll do rupees 1 lakh crore of disinvestment, and gladly we were also able to do 1,57,000 crore of disinvestment. But what people and scholars suggested was that all of this disinvestment was actually meant that the assets of PSEs were undervalued. So assets of public sector undertakings or public sector enterprises were being undervalued. इनकी जो एक्चुअल वैल्यू है उनको अंडर वैल्यू किया जा रहा है और उनको कम पैसे पे बेचा जा रहा है. तो इससे हो क्या रहा है कि जो गवर्नमेंट है इज़ फेसिंग लॉस, कि जितनी एक्चुअल वैल्यू है वो उस पर तो बेच नहीं रहे हैं, वो कम पैसे पे बेच रहे हैं. सो द गवर्नमेंट इज़ फेसिंग सब्सटैंशियल लॉस. नाउ thirdly, the scholars also suggest that गवर्नमेंट रेवेन्यू जो आ भी रहा है इन सारे डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट से, जो गवर्नमेंट रेवेन्यू आ रहा है वो डेवलपमेंट और सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो कि हमारी नीड ऑफ द इकोनॉमी थी इस पे यूज़ नहीं हो रहा है. ये वो उनके पर्सनल उस पे यूज़ हो रहा है, जो पर्सनल नीड्स हैं उनके गवर्नमेंट की. तो it is not being used for the required development and infrastructure. So these are the three criticisms that the disinvestment has faced: assets of PSUs, loss that the government is facing, and thirdly that the government revenue is not being efficiently utilized. Yeah, so discussing the last topic of this chapter, which is reforms and fiscal policies. So we'll do a small recap of what we have discussed in part 2 video. Is that reforms के टाइम पे हमने सोचा कि हम टैक्स रिफॉर्म्स जो लाए थे हमने इस वे से किए थे कि लोग टैक्स इवेजन कम करें, मतलब जो लोग टैक्स नहीं भर रहे हैं ऐसे कम लोग हों और टैक्स ज़्यादा भरा जाए. सो देयर इज़ लेस टैक्स इवेजन, देयर इज़ मोर ऑफ टैक्स कंप्लायंस, एंड थर्डली इन सब चीज़ों से गवर्नमेंट को रेवेन्यू ज़्यादा मिले टैक्स से. बट व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंड ड्यूरिंग रिफॉर्म्स इज़ दैट वी रियलाइज्ड कि एक तो जो टैक्स रेवेन्यू था वो बड़ा नहीं था. तो जो गवर्नमेंट ने एक्सपेक्ट कर रही थी कि उनका टैक्स रेवेन्यू बढ़ जाएगा, लोग टैक्स इवेजन कम करेंगे, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. टैक्स रेवेन्यू बढ़ा नहीं और ज़्यादा लोगों ने टैक्स नहीं दिया. सेकेंडली ये था कि कुछ ऐसे टैक्स आता था और पैसा आता था गवर्नमेंट के पास जो कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ की वजह से आता था. तो बेसिकली कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ आर लाइक इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटीज़, कि अगर हम ट्रेड कर रहे हैं तो हम एक इंडियन गवर्नमेंट एक टैक्स लगाती है कि अगर इतनी क्वांटिटी हुई, जस्ट लाइक कोटास की इतनी क्वांटिटी हुई तो आपको टैक्स देना पड़ेगा, इससे अगर ज़्यादा एक्सीड कर गई तो. या फिर इफ़ यू आर इम्पोर्टिंग दिस मटीरियल, कि अगर आप गोल्ड इम्पोर्ट कर रहे हो तो आप पे टैक्स लगाया जाएगा इतने % का. सो इफ देयर आर लॉट ऑफ ऐसे टैक्सेस. तो कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ आर टैक्सेस दैट ए कंट्री पुट्स ऑन द ट्रेडिंग विद अदर कंट्रीज़. तो जो हम ये ट्रेड करने की वजह से जो पहले कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ लगी गई थी, अभी कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ हटा दी थी बिकॉज हम ट्रेड ओपन करना था. हमें हमारे LPG की पॉलिसी यही थी कि हमें ट्रेड बेटर करना था बाकी कंट्रीज़ के साथ. तो हमारी कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ हमने हटा दी थी और बिकॉज हमारी कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ हट गई थी हमारा टैरिफ या फिर टैक्स रेवेन्यू भी नहीं आ रहा था. तो ये भी एक पॉइंट है कि गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स रेवेन्यू इसलिए भी नहीं मिल रहा था. थर्डली ये है कि टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स बढ़ा दिए गए जिससे प्रॉब्लम और सिचुएशन वर्स हो गई. तो टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स का मतलब होता है कि अगर फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स आ रहे हैं और हमारी इकोनॉमी में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो हम उनको बोलते हैं कि चलो आप इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, तो नॉर्मल सिटीज़न अगर 10% इलेक्ट्रिसिटी टैक्स रेट है अगर उसका, तो आप बिकॉज इन्वेस्टर हो तो आप 5% दे दो. सो एक टैक्स इंसेंटिव मिल जाता है, एक टैक्स रीबेट मिल जाता है कि आप कम % टैक्स लगेगा आप पे. सो ऐसे बिकॉज बहुत सारे इन्वेस्टर्स आ रहे थे तो गवर्नमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स दे रही थी और उनसे कम टैक्स ले रही थी. तो ये भी एक और रीज़न था कि गवर्नमेंट के पास कम टैक्स रेवेन्यू आ रहा था. दीज आर द 3 रीजन्स वाई the LPG or the new economic policy has been criticized on the parameters of reforms and fiscal policies. So that's it with this chapter. I hope you're clear and thorough with the points that I've covered. I specifically teach through points because it becomes easier. As a student, I've realized कि मतलब जब मैं student थी it was always better कि आप points में याद करो because NCERT में बहुत वेग लैंग्वेज दे रखी है. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पैराग्राफ्स एंड बिकॉज इट्स सो अलाइक ऑल पेजेस लुक सो सिमिलर. तो एंड देयर आर वेरी लेस ऑफ पिक्चर्स. तो अगर आप उसे और कलरफुल बना के एंड विद अ लॉट ऑफ पॉइंट्स एंड हाईलाइटर्स एंड मोर ऑफ फ्लैश कार्ड्स आप बना के पढ़ाई करो, सो इट्स ऑलवेज बेटर. So stay tuned. I'll be uploading rest of the chapters. If you want me to explain any specific topic डिटेल में या फिर आपको नहीं समझ आया हो, तो I'll explain it in easy words or I'll explain it in Hindi as you want. I'm always open to feedbacks. So please like, share, comment your feedbacks and recommendations. Or if there's any specific topic, कोई भी subject हो, history, pol science, English, maths, economics, I'm thorough with all of these subjects. If you want me to explain any topic, I'll definitely do it for you. So that's it. Yeah, so like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. Share it with your friends, share it with your classmates, so that they can also understand the chapters better. Thank you.